Hello, my name is Ron Cottrell, President and CEO of Hospice of the Piedmont. Welcome to the Piedmont Society annual event. As we turn the page on 2022, I never imagined that we would continue to deal with a pandemic. I hope all of you stay well as we continue to endure through this challenging time. I also know that we come together at the Piedmont Society because many of us have lost a loved one. I think it's important for us to spend a moment of reflection to remember those that we have loved and lost. Let's take just a moment to reflect and remember. Thank you. Hospice of the Piedmont is very, very fortunate to get support in so many ways. We get support from people like you that make contributions to our organization. We also get contributions in other ways as well. Hospice of the Piedmont is very, very fortunate to have tremendous number of volunteers that support our patients, our families, and our community in many, many ways. Another way that the volunteers support Hospice of the Piedmont is through their role on the board. We have local board of directors from Charlottesville and Culpeper area that govern the organization. And through that governance, we are very grateful for the chairs of those boards. I want to take a moment to express my appreciation to Larry Zippin, who has been chair of the board for the past 3 years. Larry has been a tremendous confidant of mine to support me on this journey in guiding Hospice of the Piedmont. Larry's committed a tremendous number of hours and has provided me sage counsel through his tenure as chair. Larry, thank you for your ongoing commitment to Hospice of the Piedmont and for your leadership. I also want to welcome Dr. Scott Severud to that role as chairman of the board. Dr. Severud started in the role of chair in July and has been a tremendous supporter of me and the organization in chairing the board. Dr. Severud has tremendous background as the chair of the emergency services at the University of Virginia and has served in many, many leadership roles at UVA. His depth of knowledge of governance, of administrative matters that he has dealt with over the years, and his tremendous clinical depth is a true asset to Hospice of the Piedmont. Scott, thank you for your leadership as chairman of the board. And without further ado, let me turn things over to you. Scott?
Thank you, Ron. I am new to this governance role for Hospice of the Piedmont. I've served on the board for several years, but fortunately I've got Larry Zippin, who's helped mentor me in this role, our former board chair. I promise you to do my best to be a good steward for the organization in this role. I first became acquainted with Hospice of the Piedmont a couple decades ago in my role in the emergency department, working with patients and with families at a time of crisis, usually at the very end of life, trying to make really difficult decisions. It was not until my mom's illness that I really understood what hospice offers, and not just at the very end, but in the final months of life. And I learned through her that hospice really isn't about death and dying. It's about life and the quality of that life and in one of the most important parts, which is the final chapter. I'm very hopeful and for hospice that what we can do in the future is reach more people and reach them sooner, so that I'm not having so many conversations at the very end at a time of crisis when the options are somewhat limited. I also wanted to let you know that I'm profoundly grateful for the contributions that you each and every one of you make as Piedmont Society members. Your support makes us possible, and I hope will make it possible for us to reach more people and to reach them sooner. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tim Short, and I'm so glad to be with you. I'm the Chief Medical Officer here at Hospice of the Piedmont and the Director of the Education Institute. Let me tell you a little bit about our Education Institute. This is the component of Hospice of the Piedmont that's responsible both for internal and external educational offerings, educating our staff as well as community organizations. We emphasize with this education of both the head and the heart, attending to both improving competency and nurturing compassion in all of our team members. We also emphasize interprofessional training. The best hospice care we know is delivered when it's delivered by a functional team. And the best way to become a team is right out of the gates to learn as a team in how to care for people at the end of life. And we also, our care and our education is distinguished by holistic care. And I'm not talking about holistic care of the person, that's part of it, but it's holistic care of the whole family, because we know serious illness impacts and has a tremendous influence on the whole circle of love around an individual with a serious illness at the end of life. It's my belief that a hospice is only as good as its providers, and most particularly nurses and aides. And in light of that, one exciting project that we have here at Hospice of the Piedmont is a scholarship program for our aides and our nurses. It was started focused on our aides to offer them the ability to move on towards a nursing degree. We have a number of people taking advantage of this now. And our first nurse or aide was accepted and is in nursing school now and thriving and flourishing with a GPA of 3.5. We have several other aides that are doing the pre-course work to be eligible to apply to nursing school. Let's look at a little video of Linda, one of these recipients.
Hey, Linda. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to spend just 1 or 2 minutes with you talking to you about what has taken place since you were accepted as a scholarship recipient through the Donald A. Perry Scholarship Program. I know that you took a big leap, applied, and tell me what's been going on since you accepted or applied for the scholarship.
Well, I've been doing good in school. Due to the pandemic, I've been taking classes online, which allows me to still continue to work full time and get my education, which is awesome. My mentors, my tutors available at school, my teachers, everybody's still able to help me with my academics, my lessons. It's very helpful. It's very rewarding because, of course, during the pandemic, I thought, well, how am I going to get this education, or how am I going to learn and understand my assignment if I can't see anybody face to face, because that's how I learn.
Okay.
And via Zoom, I was able to still meet with everybody and got the task done. So that's a good thing.
What made you decide to go ahead and say, I'm going to go for the scholarship and go back to school? Especially, have you been in college? How long has it been since you've been in college?
Oh gosh, I have been in school, high school, in over 10 years.
Wow.
So it's been a long time. So I was nervous at first, but I love my job. I love what I do. I love helping people. So when I saw the opportunity, I jumped on it right away. It's it's free, and it's a guaranteed job afterwards. So I'm not sitting in school thinking, oh gosh, what am I going to do? Where am I going to work after I finish school, when I already have a job lined up after school? And that makes going to school even easier.
I suspect that you, like me, could feel the energy and the enthusiasm and the deep appreciation of Linda for the opportunities offered from this generous program. We are very, very grateful for your support of these vital programs that help us as community care for community.
I'm Bob Pearson, Coordinator of Veteran Services for Hospice of the Piedmont. I've been associated with Hospice of the Piedmont and the Veterans Program for more than 10 years. I'm also an Air Force Vietnam veteran and follow that service. I spent a career as an intelligence analyst with the CIA, during which time I supported virtually every military operation we had from Vietnam currently to Afghanistan. That service provided me some really deep insights into who the veteran is and what sacrifices they've made and how we can use that to help our veterans as they get towards end of life. I've discovered it's not just those that were deployed in harm's way or actually in combat that have suffered some of the traumas. It's virtually everyone that put the uniform on that contributed and has thoughts about their service and how it affects them towards the end of life. We continue to support our veterans in a number of different ways. This past year, I have been integrated into the clinical support teams. I actually sit on the interdisciplinary group meetings weekly. And when they're discussing a veteran patient, they ask for my insights. And if there's issues, I'm able to explore that to see what resources can be brought to bear. We've also developed a number of training programs specifically designed for the clinician, that person that actually goes out and interacts with the patient, and in this case, the veteran patient. The most recent was the Vietnam Veteran Experience. We also continue to partner with the We Honor Veterans program, which is a national program with the Veterans Administration and the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization, of which we're a member. That's been going on for about 10 years, and we are a charter member. Much of that focuses on recognizing the veteran and honoring that veteran. We do that through a special pinning ceremony. And the resources that they provide, teaching resources, and a vet-to-vet program that involves our veteran volunteers who will match up with a veteran patient when they request to open those channels of communication. Again, that feedback then helps the clinical team understand who that veteran is and what they may be experiencing. I also want to say I'm privileged to have this time to thank you for your support to Hospice of the Piedmont and Hospice of the Piedmont's mission. That generosity continues to allow us to expand our veteran support program and explore ways to provide enhanced end-of-life care for our veterans in our service. And again, we greatly appreciate your generosity and support to this mission. Thank you.
Let me express my gratitude for your tremendous support. Hospice of the Piedmont continues to get better. One easy measure of success is, as a community-based, not-for-profit organization, were we able to help more people in our community this year than the year before? And I'm happy to tell you that we've been able to do that. We've seen more patients in our hospice program. We've seen more patients in Piedmont Care, our community-based palliative care program. We've seen more patients in our Center for Grief and Healing and in our children's programs. So we are working very hard to be good stewards of your support to help more people in our community than ever before. I also want to say that our Center for Grief and Healing is a tremendous support, not just for families that were patients of Hospice of the Piedmont, but also anyone in the community. And we continue to see more members of the community take advantage of this tremendous service. And to be able to support our children who have lost people, we are able to offer that service both in Charlottesville and Culpeper with your support. It is with heartfelt gratitude that we say thank you for your support of what it is we do to maximize the quality of life when patients are at the end of life, support families, and support our community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jen Downs, and I'm the newest member of the team here at Hospice of the Piedmont. I recently came on board as Chief Marketing and Development Officer, and I'm very excited to be working with the extraordinary team we have in place. I did want to take a moment and share with you an exciting new initiative that recently launched called the Positive Transformation Project. In the coming months, we're going to be making a focused and intentional effort to educate our community so that hospice can be better understood to be about living in comfort and dignity until the end of life. We also hope to empower patients and their families to make a call and find out more about hospice and palliative care services themselves and not feel like they have to wait for a physician for a referral. And finally, our hope is to normalize conversations around death and dying so that ultimately patients' end-of-life wishes can be honored. There is much work to do, but our hope is that over time, we can create a movement that positively transforms our community. Thank you all for your ongoing support, your dedication, and your trust in Hospice of the Piedmont, and I look forward to meeting many of you in the months to come.
I'm Nancy Parsons, Director of Development for Hospice of the Piedmont, and I want to thank you for your generous support. As you've heard from others today, we're seeing more people, we're seeing people more often, and we're launching new programs to improve access to our services. This is all possible thanks to you. As a nonprofit hospice, we depend upon philanthropic support to care for our community. In addition to expert palliative and hospice care, we provide grief support and counseling for our friends and neighbors who are struggling with the loss of a loved one. Whether it's art and music therapy for children, or journeys camps, or individual counseling, we're here for you when you need us. Our Music by the Bedside program provides therapeutic music for patients and families. All of this is offered free of charge, thanks to you. Here are a few examples of the impact of your support over the last year. Important renovations took place at Hospice House, and work is currently underway to restore the garden and lawn to provide a peaceful and meditative place for families and patients. A small group of donors gathered together and funded the garden and lawn restoration, and we are so thrilled, and we look forward to the spring to seeing a beautiful new garden. We've added a new art therapist position to serve grieving children throughout our 12-county service area. We have special journeys camps for children and teenagers that have been fully funded. And I'm excited to announce a new challenge grant for the Education Institute by an extraordinarily generous donor who's matching all gifts up to $125,000 between now and November 2022. These gifts will support nursing scholarships, professional development opportunities, community outreach, and caregiver education and support. The Serenity Fund is a new fund that's recently been established to support patients and families with financial need. And always, unrestricted funds enable us to have the flexibility to meet the needs of our community in an ever-changing environment. All of this is possible thanks to all of you. We want you to know that your gifts are truly making a difference for our patients and families, and we thank you and hope to see you in the coming year.